Sema is still dating Ravi at the start of the episode, but it quickly goes sour. Ravi is hyper-focused on his job and Sema is tired of waiting around for his attention. It's understandable. At the same time, and just like that, didn't give this relationship enough time to breathe before letting things dissipate. I'm not sure we'll see Ravi again, but I hope something interesting is in store for Sema this season. Beyond Sema's story, and just like that sets up what could be a very interesting arc for Lisa, who wants to highlight unsung black women in history for PBS, only to be told the producers wanted her to also spotlight Michelle Obama. I'll be intrigued by how she deals with that, and whether she'll ultimately fight it, succumb to the not-so suggestion, or if the series will drop it completely at some point. Where the episode truly falters is with Charlotte and the whole dog debacle, as she fights with a woman who's convinced Charlotte's dog, Mr. Burton, attacked her dog in the park. Now, I'm not expecting the show to have any contrived drama between Charlotte and Harry, but is there nothing in their relationship that needs attention? Everything is oak with their kids. I need a bit more than the nonsensical story Charlotte got here. Nearly 2 years have passed since the last season of And Just Like That, and it's even more unbelievable that Sue Bradshaw is still a kitten. The first character we see in this new season of the show is Sue, who is just relaxing in Carrie's brand new, unfurnished mansion on Gramercy Park. Little does she know what she's going to see in a day or two when Daddy calls Mommy while intoxicated from the front seat of his pickup truck and requests dirty talk. I'm getting ahead of myself, though. Aiden informed Carrie at the end of the previous season that he needed to spend 5 years apart from her in order to concentrate on his son Wat, who was starting to drink and shroom. A terrible blow to Carrie, who had come to the realization that Aiden, not big, was the true love of her life. Aiden is now withdrawing to his farm in Virginia to care for his kids and poultry after she recently purchased this enormous new home for them to share. With Sue by her side, Carrie is sitting by herself now, drawing a heart on a postcard to Aiden, who is asked not to be contacted until he resolves some family matters. Carrie will occupy herself with beautifying her new home while she waits for Aiden. Carrie tells Charlotte and Miranda in a bar that if she can wait 6 months for the fabric for her new chaise, she can wait for Aiden. Miranda, who is suddenly single, wants their support as she prowls. In response to Charlotte's question, for 5 years, Carrie revealingly replies, 5 years, implying that she is unsure of or doesn't think that's how long Aiden would actually require. Miranda is left alone to flirt after Carrie and Charlotte leave the bar. Sadly, the woman she thought was attempting to make a move was actually Brady's old babysitter who wanted to say hello. I detest it when that occurs. However, when the bar is about to close, a stranger, Rosie O'Donnell, arrives. When she identifies herself as Mary, a Winnipeg native, she gets straight to the point and tells Miranda, I have a hotel room. Mary appears to be a sincere, kind lady, but Miranda looks for an excuse to refuse. What could go wrong, given that she's Canadian? Mary surprises Miranda the following morning by revealing that she was a nun in addition to being a virgin before last night. That I didn't anticipate, that makes me very happy. Miranda later tells Carrie, I got intimate with a nun after you left the bar. I can't let you be alone for even a moment, Carrie responds. Their entire conversation is full of good humor, and the connection between SJP and Cynthia Nixon reminds me why this show works when it does. It would be a saintly ghost, Carrie says in response to Miranda's later question, can I ghost a nun? I mean, isn't that why we watch? Sema appeared to be one of the only characters with her act together at the end of the previous season. She was successful at work, had a clear way of establishing her own boundaries and expectations with Carrie, and had found a jet-setting boyfriend who was just as glamorous and worldly as she is. However, this season, everything seems to be falling apart. She has suffered because of the distance from her boyfriend, Ravi, who has been in Egypt filming a superhero movie. She burns a cigarette in bed, nods off, and her mattress catches fire when Ravi ends their FaceTime conversation. Sema's main worry is that the flames have singed her hair, therefore it's a scene meant to make people chuckle. She gathers herself when Ravi travels to New York to research locations for his film, but she's furious that he doesn't prioritize her when he works all day, and she goes with him in the backseat of his cruise minivan. Since Sema possesses the least realistic traits of anyone, at least in the reality I live in, she is the Samantha of this version of the show, and as such, her standards and expectations look absurd. She obviously wants her partner to notice her, but he's a busy Hollywood filmmaker too. Ultimately, after waiting for Ravi and eating chips and drink for lunch, she ends their relationship by informing him, I don't do Vans or Cool Ranch potato chips. See, Sema, they're called Doritos. But I tried. A woman with a dog in a stroller approaches Charlotte in Central Park and accuses her of attacking her dog with Charlotte's dog, Richard Burton. Charlotte, later lamenting to Harry that the woman was insane, is adamant that this was not Richard Burton's fault. People are going insane right now. Harry recites a sentence that I'm very certain was generated by artificial intelligence. I witnessed two vegans get into a fight in the Whole Foods smoothie line. Rock, Charlotte's child, gives a better reaction, saying, "Mom, believe women." An off-leash bulldog attacks the dog once more, vindicating Richard Burton, after Charlotte extends an olive branch by agreeing to cover the cost of the dog's MRI. Additionally, LTW, Lisa Todd Wexley, played by Nicole Ari Parker, is balancing her career with her husband Herbert's aspirations to succeed him as New York's comptroller. LTW has put a lot of effort into representing 10 underrepresented women throughout history, and she is selling her most recent documentary about remarkable black women to PBS. However, she's at a loss when her producers propose that she add Michelle Obama since, as she states, Michelle Obama is sung, and this series is about unsung women. Really, really sung. However, she has no other option and must somehow persuade Michelle Obama to support this. Does this imply that Michelle Obama will make an appearance on the show at some point? Herbert, the husband of LTW, is running for city comptroller and is somewhat self-conscious about his uncool polling. Herbert worries that he's not cool, so he even calls Lisa during a meeting. "Herbert, there's nothing cool about you running for city comptroller," Lisa retorts. He performs for the audience with his a cappella ensemble at the fundraiser cocktail party that LTW throws him to show that he's cool. In the middle of the performance, Harry stands up and yells, "Yeah, babe," and it's strange since Harry's soul lines this week are just so awful. By not talking to him, Carrie has been attempting to maintain Aiden's limits, but when he contacts Carrie for some late-night dirty talk, Aiden completely breaks them. She says, "I thought we weren't supposed to call." He informs her, well, after this third beer, that rule went out of the window. I'm too embarrassed to type the rest of their conversation when Aiden tells her, "If I were there right now, I'd be touching you the way you like." However, Aiden unintentionally honks his car's siren as the two begin dirty talk, interrupting Carrie. Even worse, she's unable to finish since Shoo the cat is observing her. As Aiden gets off the phone, she pretends to be someone else. In addition to being extremely uncomfortable to watch and hear, it is also one of the most suggestive situations Carrie has ever been in, at least in the beginning when she is actively involved. Even though she has had a lot of intimacy on the show, SJP doesn't often engage in lewd conversation, so this feels like a brave move for her. Carrie tells Charlotte and Miranda that she feels dishonest about pretending to have sex with Aiden because it's the most honest thing about us. Anthony is someone who has no idea why Carrie and Aiden aren't together and doesn't comprehend their predicament at all. Carrie doesn't like the prying and he keeps asking her how long Aiden will actually be gone. It makes Carrie think that she might not even be aware of their timeline, not because it's impolite. When Anthony finally apologizes to Carrie at LTU's cocktail party for Herbert, she responds, "You're not the only one with opinions about us. You're just the only one who says them out loud." After being inundated with Mary's texts for the entire week, Miranda eventually makes the trip to Times Square to bid Mary farewell. After seeing Wicked on Broadway and having intimate with Miranda, Mary informs Miranda that this week has been the finest of her life. When Mary begins to sing For Good from Wicked, Miranda attempts to let her go gently, but is left stunned. She contacts Aiden and apologizes for pretending to have intimacy over the phone, telling him she wants another opportunity. She continues, "Touch yourself, Aiden," but he interrupts, saying he can't because he's sleeping in bed with his son. Her house alarm goes off as she hangs up on him, mortified. This has been a problem for her since she moved in. The experience wakes her up and makes her restless, so she dashes downstairs to turn off the alarm. She approaches and begins typing on her laptop, which she hasn't used in weeks. She types, "The woman wondered what she had gotten herself into." The problem with Carrie Bradshaw is that she might as well begin writing her book if she isn't distracted by a man.